But every time he goes on like a hunting trip or a guy's trip, it's like I
Ooh.
have time to scroll at night and I research and then I buy equipment. And so
Right.
See,
I did that.
that's why I don't go on guys trips,
You can't
and
leave me
I
unattended.
don't leave you unattended. That's why
Can't
I
be
don't go anywhere.
unattended.
It's probably true.
So I was like,
And welcome back to the Riley Bike Project, Crystal and John.
Hey.
What's up?
Same old, same old.
Yep. If you listened last week and you listened all the way through, there was a little Easter egg there for you.
Someone saw it.
Yeah.
Because they commented and
Nice.
said exciting news.
Perfect. So you have to go get to like the end.
Don't be cheating either.
Yeah.
Scrolling all the way to the end.
But also you saw last week, we were only able to get through half of the names because everyone is signing up for Patreon.
Yes. Well, before I do the names, I'm going to do the sponsor.
Oh, today's show is sponsored by?
Katie with Monarch Pine. She's giving everybody 10% off with code Riley Black on her Etsy, monarchpine.etsy.com. That was a good one.
Yeah, you left out the S and everything.
Right? I know. I decided not to make fun of you for that again. It's probably getting old for people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the show.
So the second half, but I can't call them the best half, but they're our OGs.
Yes.
So they're at the bottom of the list because they were here first.
Only this
if that
week.
makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to switch it next time.
Yeah.
So we got Heather Lynn with Lobo Designs.
She
Liz.
goes on the other list.
Yes. With the second list?
Yeah, because she should have signed.
Be nice.
Because she should have signed it. Signed up early.
Yeah.
But she didn't.
Well,
So
here we are.
anyway, Heather Lynn.
Liz with the laser outpool. Outpost, X Tool, Jewelry Blanks
and Fiber
X1, all the things.
And blah, blah, blah.
Super fan. Brandy Mahoney. Victor with Excited Adam. Katie with Monarch Pine. Lisa. David with Creative Cut Supplies. Stephanie Long. Barbie. Madison with Laser Maple. Emily with TM Wall. Mark with Big Blue Laser Designs. Have you?
Yeah.
The Kathy Ray. The Kathy Ray. MJ with Craft and Carry. Ryan with Sprouts Creations. And the OG Will, Crazy Laser Dad.
Crazy Laser Dad. Shouts out to him. He just had a pallet of wood fall on him.
He did. He's a lot like you, and he's stubborn, and he does stuff that he probably shouldn't.
It's a guy. It's a guy thing.
Yeah, so now he's a little sore.
Yeah?
But, yeah. And the doctor apparently told him not to have any caffeine.
Perfect.
But if you know anything
Let's go
about Will,
right from from urgent
much.
care, wherever he was, straight to Starbucks.
Right. He said he only had 2 today.
Oh,
but he said the noise from first day of school was worse than the lack of caffeine. So, and probably worse than the actual pain. But who knows?
He's very caffeinated.
Very.
I mean, he does a lot.
He does.
So he needs the caffeine to keep
I think
it
I
going.
need more caffeine to do all the things that are on my list.
I need caffeine to get through today.
I know.
First day of school
We're
and
back
stuff.
to recording.
All of that.
Well, so we're back to recording at nights. So if you guys notice a couple more yawns here and there, that's why, especially in our life update, because then we don't have to like hold it together as much with our guests, and we fall apart in the life updates because we be tired.
Yes. Well,
we got?
Speaking of our guests today, this is impressive. 3,000 square foot shop.
We're going to go check it out.
Yeah, we are going to go check it out. And I want one. Don't know what it looks like, but I want one. 3,000 square feet, I want one.
Gimme.
Yeah, have some studio space.
Right.
Some space for
have all the space.
Just some space for your acrylic. I mean, obviously the lasers stay here, but your acrylic will have a space.
Yeah.
So 3,000 square foot. There's not a taco that she doesn't like.
I mean, same.
We should be recording this tomorrow because it's Taco Tuesday.
Oh,
tomorrow's Taco
missed
Tuesday.
Opportunity.
So that would have been great. But welcome to the show. Of course, this goes.
I was gonna say, did your phone die?
My phone's like, I'm gonna test you, right? Welcome to the show, Heather Bennett of Paisley Grace Makery.
There you go.
How's it going?
It is going well. It is going well. Now you're making me hungry talking about tacos, though.
I know, right? Late night taco snack.
Hey.
I need to make it Mexican Monday. I don't know.
Right? Yes, good idea.
If it wasn't because Taco Bell closes so early around here.
Oh man, it's probably really good for us.
No, don't judge. Don't judge. I actually had Taco Bell for dinner because my son loves it. So
jealous.
Not judging at all.
Not judging at all. Actually, a little bit jealous. We haven't had it in forever, and we were just talking about it like a couple days ago about how we really wanted some Taco Bell. So yeah,
it's gonna happen soon.
It is. So I met. It's funny because they kept calling her Heather B.
Right.
But my laser bestie is what everyone knows her as Heather Lynn.
Heather L.
Right. So, but her last name starts with a B. So she's technically also Heather B. So every time I'd hear Heather B, because she's also called HB, it would throw me off. And I'm like, wait, which one? Because Heather was part of LMC as well. Yeah. So that's the first time I met Heather. And it's just so crazy to me how the laser world works. How this Heather didn't we didn't cross paths anytime before LMC. And there was a few other people that was the case too. And I thought that was, it's so cool and it's so crazy at the same time. Because I feel like we're both pretty active in the communities, but like they just didn't hit the same spot at the same time.
I thought it was just me because I'm new.
Right, you're a newbie.
So some of the faces were familiar, and others I'm like, oh, I just haven't.
Well, and the faces that were probably familiar were the ones who were on the show.
Yeah.
And she hasn't been on the show yet, so. But here we are.
Here we are.
So, I guess tell us, I learned a little bit about you and your shop and your like paint workshops and all that stuff with LMC, but like how did this all come about?
Oh, so it's a crazy story. I can go all the way back to I was born in a dark and stormy night, but I won't bore you.
Right.
No, I graduated and went to from Flagler, and I was a teacher. So that was my first career, and did that for 5 years. And on this, as a teacher, make enough money to support your classroom. So I always was hustling on the side. So I was waitressing or different things. Then ran across network marketing, started selling jewelry, which is the funniest thing because I am not a jewelry girl or girly girl, but I did love the company. And so I started doing that and really learned a lot about business mindset and personal development. Definitely learned about networking, network marketing, and sales. So really fed my knowledge of that on the side. And before I knew it, I was in the upper 5% of the company, and I had a team of 80 women looking at me. And it was great. All was good. We were earning the trips. Things were good. I actually left teaching, and I was running it solo for 4 years until December 8th of 2014. They called and said the company was shutting down. And so at the time I was 8 months pregnant and was kind of okay, what do you do? We had just built an office, bought a new car because I had a sustainable income from it. And here I am, huge and pregnant. And I was like, okay, we weren't at the point where I could stay home per se. I could for a little bit, but the plan was to go back to teaching. And my heart just wasn't in it because here I had this little one and another little one on the way. And I had built this network of women that were all looking at me like, what are you going to do now? And so, and I, quite frankly, if I'm honest, there was that sympathy card that was sitting there, right? Everyone's feeling bad. Here's this lady that's just out of work. What, we want to support her. So I kind of had this moment of, okay, I got to land on my feet. And Matt told me I could be a stay-at-home mom. And I lasted about 2 weeks. So kudos to everyone who can be a stay-at-home mom, because I was insane because I'm all I talk to is my 2-year-old and I don't know what she's saying yet. I can't.
And then when they start talking, they immediately start arguing with you.
Yes.
It's negotiating with a terrorist. I did a year with JR and then also almost a year with Jackson. It was 9 months. and it's hard. Like I wouldn't take that back at all, but I would be lying if I wasn't saying that I was so ready for them to go to daycare. And like I totally cried. I bawled my eyeballs out, but at the same time, like coming back home to a nice quiet house and like being able to like accomplish things, it was like, what is this?
Right, because having littles is like brushing your teeth while eating Oreos. Like you can't get anything
Literally.
done.
Attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high-quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time-consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser-ready blanks.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing Pyburn rotary attachment. With the Pyburn 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces.
Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a Chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyburn Grip, Lens Digital's Chuck-style rotary. With a range of different sized jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and Galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that paired with the best-in-class customer support, Lens Digital is your one-stop shop for all of your rotary needs.
Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today.
And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code Riley Black will take $50 off any order of $600 or more.
And so I was just, you know, she was napping at the time, so I dusted off the silhouette that somebody had bought me 2 years ago that my ADD, it was one of those ADD whims like I had to have and then I forgot about.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, what can I do with this thing? And I learned to make sippy cup labels. And then I was like, I could sell these for $5. And then I started figuring out what else I could do. And I figured out I could make stencils for wood. And it just kind of went back to my roots. My grandpa always had me in his wood shop. And I was like, okay, what if I take all these Pinterest nights that my friend and I try and have all the time? And then we like go buy all the stuff at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. And by the time we get home, we just want to drink wine and watch TV because it's awesome.
Right.
Like, what if I just bring all the crafts to them already and they can just drink wine and I'll be like, look over there and fix it. Right. And so they don't go home with a Pinterest fail. And so that's where it all started. It was mobile parties for the first year. And after a year, wood's really heavy and I'm really small. And so dragging it all over Jacksonville, I was like, I just need a studio. Like my kid didn't play in a sandbox. They played in a sawdust pile. Like,
right.
Mama, soda? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure that's not laced with chemicals. You're good.
Right. Yeah, it's super, super great to breathe in. It's fun.
Yeah, awful. So I told Matt I wanted a shop and he was like, no. And I was very crushed because I thought he supported me and loved me. And then he...
How dare you say no?
It's like that real we're getting a divorce. I just say you can't have a shop. It's basically the same thing.
Right. Yeah. Like, he doesn't say no often either. And each time he does, I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on you because no doesn't work. I'm just going to gradually break you down for the next few months until.
Well, I went to him a week later and I was like, okay, so no, I want to shop. And he was like, okay, I just needed to make sure that this was not an ADD whim, like that you were going for it. And I was like, ooh, tough play.
Sick little trick.
Smart man. Okay. Smart. So I went on the hunt and found a little studio. He had told me 1 year lease and $1,000 rent was my max. And so I came home and was like, I found a place. And he was like, wow, that's impressive in Florida. And I was like, yeah, 3 year lease, $1,500 a month rent should be fine.
Right.
So, but thankfully I was blessed with the situation. It was another small business owner renting me space. And so I negotiated into the lease that if the business model didn't work, I could give him a notice and we were only on the hook for 2 months. So really that's what Matt was worried about. We couldn't support a
Right.
$24,000 mortgage without something coming in.
Right.
And so at a $3,000 gamble, it was worth it.
Right.
And so we were there for 3 years and then morphed into when that lease was over, I ended up buying the building a mile from our historic downtown. And now that's my home away from home.
Oh, and you bought it?
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
goals, because
Yeah.
that's one thing that we're really struggling with wanting a studio space or a shop, and it's like having to. I don't mind paying a mortgage on. You
Right.
know, if that's what it's called when it's like retail space, but whatever, commercial space. But I wouldn't mind paying the monthly, you know, payments instead of paying
Rent.
monthly rent and
Yeah.
it constantly going up and having to make sure that we get it cleared and we're allowed to have lasers in there and are people allowed to come there and what can we do with it and what, you know, what kind of, because our business is always shifting. We always think that this is what we're going to do, and then all of a sudden, you know, we see something shiny and we're like, what about this? We want to add this and we want to do all the things. So
I can
yeah,
agree more.
buying a space.
Buying was huge. It's a big building and it's not without its quirks. Like it doesn't have hot
Right.
water. So we had to use point of use things. And,
Mm.
but we were able to work creatively with our bank because I know a lot of hiccups for small business owners are like a lot of commercial mortgages want you to have 20, 30% down
Right.
and then have a 15-year mortgage, which means your payment's going to be higher.
Right.
But the one thing that I would encourage you guys to look into, and you have to have faith in yourself and have that
Right.
grit that you're gonna make it work. Like I knew even if the Makery business didn't work, like I'd learn how to teach dance lessons. Like, and I don't know how to dance. Like I'm
You have
gonna
things
figure
to fall
it
back on.
out.
Yeah.
And so we actually took the equity we had in our house and leveraged that as our down payment for
Okay.
the building. And so we didn't have a down payment.
Nice.
We just started paying the mortgage, and it's been great because now, you know, rent in the area for that big a space would be almost double of what I pay for a mortgage.
Is that basically to like current space now? Because that's the space that you're in now, right?
It is, yes.
And then, so what do you do in that space?
Oh, chase ADD whims left and right. So our primary business is we host DIY workshops. So
Okay.
Tuesday through Saturday, we have open paint where people of all ages can walk in and basically pick a craft off the wall. So a lot of them are laser projects now. We started on stencils, so it's still in my OG. I still have a ton of
Nice.
stencil projects up as well. A lot of my first makers love those more. So they grab a craft, then our instructors teach them start to finish on that. Then we have our evening workshops that do the same typical thing, but then we get into epoxy and paint pouring and sea glass and
Nice.
whatever other shiny object crosses my path that month.
Right. So at what point did you add the laser, and what laser or lasers do you have?
So I had back at the first studio, we started doing the typical like interchangeable home sign with the shape that pops in and out for the O.
Yeah.
And so I wanted a way to cut that. And my husband had a guy at work that owned a laser, and he was like, well, I'll wholesale them to her. So I started there, and then he was pretty quick turnaround, but I wasn't the best at projecting and planning. And so I needed things like now. Like when I came up with it, I wanted to cut it right now. And so I have a bad habit of when Matt goes, I'm really a bad wife now that I talk about this, but he's a great husband. But every time he goes on like a hunting trip or a guy's trip, it's like I have time to scroll at night and I research and then I buy equipment. And so
See,
I
that's
did
why
that.
that's why I don't go on guys trips.
You can't
And I
leave me
don't leave you,
unattended.
and I don't leave you unattended. That's why I
Can't
don't
be
go anywhere.
unattended.
It's probably true.
So I was like scrolling, and that's when like the Glowforge was posting a big thing. And nothing against Glowforges, it kind of became the slow forge for me because it couldn't keep up with the demand of what we started. But it was super easy, plug and play, easy to use until it broke. And so we started with the Glowforge, and then when I got really mad at that, then I started following Emily with that mom with the laser, and so we bought a Mira 9.
Yep.
And then I quickly was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even keep up with the Mirror 9. And so Matt was all excited when I moved out of the garage into the first building. And then I got the big building because now it's like a big she shed.
Right.
So then I'm like, well, I'm going to sell it all because I want to be home with the kids because I virtual school them. And he's like, no, you're not. And I was like, okay, really, I think the problem is I need a laser at home because I don't want to drag the kids over to the shop to press a
Right.
button. And
Yeah.
so then I took over his third bay and I bought a Thunder 51 130. And so now, of course, I lied to him accidentally. And I was like, I'm still only the corner that I need. And now he built out beautiful work tables for me and all the shelving. And so I have a third bay here too.
Nice. So did you kick out your husband's classic cars like Bree's husband did, or?
Hey there, podcast listeners. How great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape your 9 to 5 to embrace your lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Freedom to Create webinar, where you'll learn how to make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Freedom to Create webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
Speaking of all things laser, check out Houston Acrylic at houstonacrylic.com for reliable laser tested and laser approved materials.
Made for makers by makers, Houston Acrylic features over 450 styles of acrylic sheets. With over 50 new arrivals being released this month, Houston Acrylic is committed to bringing new and innovative styles to the laser community. My personal favorite is the matte, anything matte, and I feel it's perfect for everything.
Don't forget to save 10% by using our exclusive coupon code TRBP10 at checkout. Get inspired today and visit houstonacrylic.com.
Do it.
Definitely kicked out all of his kayaks, surfboards, and everything else. Yeah. Actually, I think the kayak hangs above my head. Like he joisted it. So I'm always like, God, I hope that is joisted really well and doesn't come down on my laser or me.
Right. That would be unfortunate.
It was horrible. Like
The
Paul
kayak's looking
Thunder,
at
like,
you.
so do you cover when a kayak comes through the glass?
Right, what is that? Allstate, we cover that, or whatever
Right,
those
yeah.
commercials are.
He's like, I'm gonna get my garage back somehow.
Right. Well, the
I
kayak's sitting up there,
just
like,
in and out of the policy. There was nothing about like
right.
all
The kayak is sitting up in the rafters, like,
Just gets
I'm
lower
up here, like,
and lower
in
every.
in timeout.
Was this? Why is this? Am I getting tall?
paddle just starts coming like Final Destination.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, anyone from our generation cannot drive behind a log truck. So
No, and I can't
Oh
drive
my
behind.
No, and then when you come to, I'm saying when you come to Fernandina, because you're going to, all you do is drive behind log trucks because the mill is on the island. It's the scariest moment of my life every morning.
oh my god. What were you
Yeah.
gonna say?
No, I can't drive behind the car haulers.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
with the cars, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
That
especially when the
happened
semi
No,
is
it
hauling
didn't.
the semi backwards. That's really freaky too. Like when
Yeah.
the semi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When
I
they
love the
load
ones
them.
when they like wake up the wife or the husband.
Yeah.
And like and there's a
Yeah, no, but when they load those full, and that
Yeah.
last car is just like on
looks
top,
like-
just like
yeah.
sitting there, and in that scene in Bad Boys where the Haitian gang was just throwing cars off of the
nice,
the
of
top.
course.
Yeah, it's,
Sounds
it's,
like Bad
it's,
Boys.
it's very reminiscent of Final Destination. So I can't
Right.
drive behind log trucks, and I can't drive behind those
Makes
because
sense.
I'm like, one of those is gonna fall.
Right. Just in case
Just in
I'm gonna
case.
get over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Although that makes me think like when my Thunder was delivered, Matt has a great video of it like hijacking off the.
I've seen
Um,
so many
oh my
of those. Yeah, what is it?
It's so
High
bad.
Center or
Yeah.
whatever. Oh, and like
was-
just mine. Yeah.
Scary.
My Mira 9, they had like, it was like actually not delivering it, but getting
Moving
it
it
into
here.
the moving truck. It was a pretty janky truck, and the lift, it was the laser and like two or three of them, because I had to support it, and it was like doing this going up, and I was like, oh my god, and I'm like, I can't look but I also like have to look. I can't like leave you guys like unattended without these. Like, oh my God, it
And
was
it's there like ghost the whole time.
If it falls, I want to at least see it.
right. Like, or don't, because then that would just replay in your head like a nightmare. Oh man, yeah, no. Moving these things is never a good time. But I mean, it's the F1 and the fiber. Those are a lot. Those are cake moving those.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the
they're
I
bigger
think that's the
nine.
next. I told Matt I think that's the next child we're expecting.
Yeah.
You know, we usually said we're gonna have 4 kids. We have 2 real kids, 2 lasers, but I think we're
Right.
gonna go for more.
I highly encourage it. And it really just depends on like what the next project is or the next like thing you'd want to do.
Right.
I think the like F1 or the F1 Ultra might be really good for your shop because people could like while they're it would be a nice add-on service. So like sure they're there like making their sign, but like hey, do you also want to make like a bracelet or a keychain or something, and they can like write out their handwriting or they have their mom write something and engrave it on something, and then it doesn't take that long because the F1 does take a little bit longer, so it may be something you'd have to like start at the beginning, but the F1 Ultra is much faster. Yeah, and it would be good add-on. Same with the fiber, but I wouldn't trust anyone to get anywhere near the fiber. You
That's
maybe
a lie.
put it.
She lets me use it all the time.
Yes, but not like customers. I mean,
Oh,
and the
customers,
fibers
yeah.
because they're typically
Right.
you can case them, but it's
Yeah.
kind of cumbersome to put it in a big case.
No, we keep it in the back. Let the girls use it.
Yeah, yeah, but it would be cool to the custom keychains or some kind of add-on would be fun.
It like would bring me back to my first job at McDonald's. Like, would you like to supersize your order with a custom?
Right?
Well, and then the draw of the fiber is the quickness and the sounds that it makes. So as long as you give them a pair of glasses and be like, here, look, we're gonna make this, and it does the bzzz, and be like, ooh, that's cool. And
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of like when you go to like a zoo or something, and they turn the penny into whatever you like wheel
Yeah,
it.
they like squish it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. They actually get to see it happen right in front of them, and then they take it.
Or even like behind a window, if anything.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the viewing.
Yeah, you got to be up on the laser to hear it.
That's true. That's true. You got to
And
have
to
the
see
full,
the little sparks and
the full
everything. Yeah, you
effect.
need that.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot to that because people. I mean, obviously, I'm a little partial because it's my whole business, but people are really into the DIY. Like, there's something about creating with your hands, especially when my favorite customers are the ones that walk in because they got dragged in by a friend or the husband.
And then they love it.
I'm not crafty. I don't do these things. And then they're the ones like, do you see my masterpiece? I did it.
That are so proud
This
and
is
excited.
so good. And I'm like, that's why we say find your inner artist. Like that's our slogan, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been cool. We've been doing it for 10 years and something that I thought was just going to get me through till I went back to teaching has revolutionized our whole family. So
yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, you're still teaching basically in a way, but it's just it looks different, but it's more unique to you and it's how you want to do it. And I assume it's not hard to do. Pays more than teaching, so
definitely pays more. And I mean, you know, just like any entrepreneur business, there's a lot of hats to wear. And then I started to coach, so there's all the strings to tie. But it's so cool. I start my week with toddlers and I end it with women with bottles of wine. And the painting can be about the same level, but it's
depending on how many
fun
bottles.
and it's entertaining, and you get to hear a ton of stories. So
yeah. And it's so true with the creativity. Like even I feel like most people, even if they don't think they're super creative, they have their own like creativity and whatever in there. And like you're creative in different ways, but you like I took you to one of those places forever ago back in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
It was called Upstairs Circus.
Well, we went to a few. We went to the one where I made the beer caddy.
Yeah, that was that one.
And then the string art. One. Yeah.
We went a couple times to that.
But
one.
I'm also. I mean, I'm not. I guess I wouldn't consider myself crafty, but I'm like handy. Yeah. And like you know, tools and stuff like that. Like interest me in making things. You know, granted, like the beer caddy. Right. You know, that was like out of wood and nails and stuff. So that like, you know, and then you paint it. So the painting was like, okay, I get to paint it.
Right.
But I was really more concerned with the
Really
putting it
the build
together.
part.
Yeah.
Like Legos. I
Yeah.
always used to love
That's
putting
true.
those Legos in those
That's
like
true. I
back when we
remember
had
how
toys.
many you had in your apartment.
Yeah, and my bachelor pad I had Legos.
He did.
Not like
Lego
not like,
sets.
Not like creepy. Not like a creepy guy Lego set.
No, they weren't creepy guy
and
Lego
nothing
sets.
like huge. Not like the
the
what is it?
full
The,
Star
Not the
Wars,
Healthy
like
Star Wars
Millennium Falcon. Yeah.
$4,000 one.
No, like the little car, like
Yeah.
Lightning McQueen car.
Right.
But no, like the back when Ninja Turtles had their like toys and GI Joes, the vehicles you put together, not necessarily Lego type, but you would put those together, and I would love doing that. So, crafty, maybe I need instructions. I can't do it on my own.
Well, and I think
we
that's where
learned
we
that today with the fiber.
Right.
It's just because people want the example, and even my daughter, she's a lot more analytical than I am, and they have to do a chore every day before they earn their electronics. And so she has decided when she's stuck at the shop that her chore, she'll paint the samples, but she'll only paint the samples if she has an example. So she does well with like Etsy files because she's like, I follow the rules. And then I give it to my son and he's like, some splatter looks great. This is good. We'll paint for here. So it just depends. But I think creativity is a muscle. You just have to keep working it out. And the more you work it, the bigger it gets. So
yeah. Yeah, and I think exploring that. Well, and so you said all ages, right? So like, little kids can come. I mean, JR has been, it's no surprise him being my child, but he's been creative and wanted to color, draw. He's obsessed with making paper airplanes and other just random things. But leaning into that is just, it's so important. And I want to try and like reiterate that, you can just the non-typical jobs. You can do something creative. If you want to be a gamer, fine, let's be a gamer. But like, you got to get really good at it. You need to kind of go about it the right way. Make sure you have your ducks in a row. Like, is your schoolwork done? Like, what's your backup plan? Like, how are you going to make money doing this? Like, all of those things. But because one thing that I always struggled with was I loved being creative and I wanted it to be my job, but I just couldn't figure it out. And then I also thought too, because I tried so many different crafts that like we would sell at like a craft show here and there. We kind of test it out and see how it does, or test it with friends and family, and it would do good for a while, and then it just wouldn't stick. And for a while, each one of those would kind of feel like a failure. And it wasn't really a failure. It was just finding that right thing, and you don't know what that right thing is until you try it.
Right.
I was sharing a story. Blake had posted in the Great Lakes Laser Supply of like what made you buy your laser. And what I thought I wanted to do with my laser was those nursery signs with not the super crazy like shaped ones. I didn't know anything about those when I bought it. Those are a lot of like scroll artists, but also laser artists as well. But I thought I wanted to do those nursery signs, and I did 2 of them, and I did no more. I decided I hated painting, and I wanted nothing to do with painting. I like the acrylic that's already colored and fancy, and playing with that. But I wouldn't have known that had I not tried. And I think each one of those kind of crafts, the fleece blankets and like the little tiny little like pies on a stick that we sold for a while, like each one of those kind of taught me a little bit about crafting and my creativity, what I liked, what I didn't like, and they're not fails, they're just like part of your journey.
Your growth.
It's part of your cha-cha. It's part of your dance. Like you have to go forward and back to figure out what's your style. And now when I go to price things, like there's definitely a PETA charge involved. Like if I don't like doing something, like it's gonna have a higher price because
definitely
I'm gonna task avoid it as long as I can. And so I better make me get out of bed.
It's funny. It's that it's either you can apply it to people, but also to projects, the annoyance fee. And so it's like, okay, how much do I need to charge to make this worth it?
Right.
And if they want to pay that price, great.
Let's go.
You know, but it's always so funny when you like send that like really expensive quote, and then they're like, oh, okay, and
That's
you're like,
always
shit.
That's always the one.
You're always like,
no.
yay, no.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, oh, perfect. How do I pay you? And it's like,
Right.
oh, you don't pay me. You tell me it's too expensive, and I
go
turn
away.
you away.
Right.
Well, that's
That's
like
how it's supposed
the
to be.
Ritz-Carlton just reached out to us, and they're like, can you do a 70-person epoxy workshop? And I was like, yes, our travel fee is this. We got to come out the next day, so that's this charge. And, you know, I kept racking up all these miscellaneous standard fees just
And
because
they're like, perfect.
I did. And
Yeah.
they're like, sounds great. Can you send a sample? And here's your $80 for this. And I was like,
Shit. Exactly. Like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing
Cool.
this.
Right.
I guess we go to the Ritz now. Here we go.
Right. Yeah, it's always tough. And then because my anxiety and my overthinking, I'm like, great, now I have to make something that fits that quality of like a $300 item when it's really like $100 item or $150, and I just charged you double to make you go away, and now I have to make it really awesome.
Wrinkle bows and branded logos, man.
Right. Well, and I mean, I will say that, like, I remember one of my first, like, bigger, more expensive, super custom projects. I remember asking her budget, because what would happen a lot is that, you know, someone would come to me and they'd have like a really cool idea, and then I would go ham designing it, and then I would feel guilty charging them for what that would cost to make it the way my brain, you know, went crazy. And then I'd have to try and simple it down, but I can't because my brain has this stuck in my head and I know how awesome it could be, but that's not in their budget. So when I would do custom work, I would start to ask them like their budget, like what are you expecting to pay? And then I can design towards that, because if you only want to spend 50 to 100, I need to make sure I don't go ham with the materials and I don't go crazy with time and detail. And then the one friend, I had asked her, you know, I was like, oh, what's your budget? And she was like, you know, nothing above, and she just wrote 4. She didn't actually write it out. She's like, you know, maybe not too far above 4. And I was like, do you mean $400? And she was like, she goes, yeah, your work is amazing. I wouldn't expect anything. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, this one's going to be fun. Like, I remember it just, and that was really early on. That was like my first year, maybe even my first 6 months. And I got to make something like super cool. I made her, this was back in my wood days before I, you know, shunned it and went to acrylic. But I made like a live edge sign. And so the live edge was the backer. And then I think I used walnut, and I made it look, it was not an actual Jeep, but it was an off-road vehicle type.
Off-road vehicle. Mm-hmm.
And then I had her send me pictures of her and her girlfriend, and I traced like their head, and I made their head shapes and hair like in the car. And then like on the license plate, I did their anniversary, and like I went crazy, and I was like, okay, if you're gonna give me $400, I'm gonna go like over the, yeah. And it was so much fun, and it was awesome. One, that someone was willing to pay me that kind of money for like a piece, especially that early on. But yeah, it's key in then not having the anxiety of now I have to make it super awesome because I actually want to do it. But that's
Right.
the possible.
Well, and that's one of the things that I always coach on is just building those walls of protection in your business, because I think we all have the super creative minds and we can go down those bunny trails. But if you don't like collect payment on the custom first, if you don't follow the business procedures first, then you're going to sink yourself on so much time. And so I think one of the quotes I said in Laser MakerCon was, you don't have to be mean, but you have to mean business. And that's, I think, the hardest part is being a creative, because we're so excitable and our minds get ahead of us, and
we just want to create sometimes, and we don't care about getting the stuff that makes it, that we
but
can
make Kenya a
continue to create.
sustainable business so you can
Right.
be here 10 years later and 20 years later,
Exactly.
I think I've mentioned it before many times in the show already, but
Mhm.
I have ADD. And so my husband's always, I'm like, well, I could do this. I could do this. He goes, no, you're not selling this business because you're just going to start another one. Like,
Right.
we've established
Exactly.
this, you know how it works. Like, you can add on, but this is
Yeah.
the
It's
fuel. And
so
I'm like,
hard for us because we think of so many things that we're like, oh, we could do this. And like, so we're in a small town and
Yeah.
there's not a lot of like late night foods and stuff. And I'm like, we could just sell like snacks. Like, we don't actually have to cook anything. Like, we just basically resell because not even the grocery stores or like the convenience stores are open after. So I know.
Right.
Listen, we came from South
Yeah.
Florida. So it's really hard, like where
Well,
things were open
so-
all the time almost.
And also, a younger demographic is moving here as
Right.
well. So it's like those are gonna be like the spots. Like, we have a unique opportunity here that
Right.
we're like one of the first in the younger market.
Right.
So it's just gonna get younger and younger.
Right.
So yeah, things are
awesome.
gonna start.
But it's hard to not just like start the new because we already do so much and don't have
Yeah.
enough time as it is. So it's really hard not to just want to go start and try the next thing. Like, we have any time to do that, but it's
I
the
think
same thing. Like,
entrepreneurship is kind of like a drug, right? It's like,
totally.
Yeah.
it just, you become like an addict. You're like, oh, I can
You
start
really
another
do.
thing.
For
I
the
can do
next
another
thing.
one. I got more
Yeah.
ideas.
Right.
I mean, look at us. We're sitting in a studio on a podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
we don't do anything small.
Right.
It's like, you want to start a podcast? Yeah, but we need a studio.
Right. Hey, we did it on our couch for 8 months. That
Yeah.
sounds dirty.
We did do it on the couch for 8 months.
The podcast.
Yeah, the podcast too.
Podcast.
So, tell me more about your coaching. So, how did that kind of evolve, and like, at what point
She's a
did
teacher.
the coaching come into play?
He answered it. Yeah, I'm a teacher.
Right.
No, I think right, once a teacher, always a teacher. But I think one of my favorite things is when you feel like you've accomplished anything to turn around and pull the next person up. And when I started 10 years ago, there was 3 other ladies, Tiffany from Nook and Cranny, Jolie from the Makery, Washington, and then Jen with Courage and Grace. And there's really the 4 of us that connected in a Facebook group and became each other's like, I guess, sounding
support
board
system.
and unit. Like, because entrepreneurship's really lonely sometimes. You don't know if you're doing good. You don't know if you're doing bad.
Right.
When I was in network marketing, if I made it to the stage, I knew I was doing good. I had numbers to
Right.
compare. It feels like a losing battle all the time.
Well, and I
here.
mean, so for us, we didn't have a lot of family or friends who were also entrepreneurs. So we didn't have someone else to like talk to about it, to compare about it. Like, we only had the friends we had made in the laser community online for the most part. And even then, a lot of we did eventually meet some local friends, but like, and they were killing it, but they were killing it as their side hustle because they couldn't leave their their main job, because like pensions and that kind of stuff. And so it was just like we didn't know a lot of people who were doing the entrepreneur stuff full time. And so we didn't really have like people to talk to about it. So we're literally like flying by the seat of our pants, mostly me, because it was me until, just him until he quit last year. But yeah, I was unprepared for how lonely it would be.
Well, that's
And
why we
just-
started the podcast.
Super lonely journal, and you don't have the beacons. You don't always know you don't know what you're doing, and then you don't know what you don't know. And so I think right around COVID happened, Jolie was like, we always get these questions of how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, what if we all just put our brains together and come up with like a boot camp? And so we did drive it together. And then they're both so busy. I ended up running with it and doing the membership following it afterwards. But, and now I recorded all the boot camp training. So it's really everything that I do behind the scenes to run the business. And then the membership is just a huge collaborative because franchises are great. I mean, they have their place, but they're so expensive. And I feel like they restrain a lot of people. So my
Right.
vision with it is to really give people that support that a franchise would offer them at like
Right.
the $50 a month that you can afford by selling one
Right.
sign. You know, so you can
Yeah.
do it at your interval, but you can ramp up when you're ready, and you have this support for when you have those bad days, and you just need to vent and be honest and real, because there's
Right.
some days that it just sucks. And then there's other
Right.
days that it's like, oh my God. I mean, literally in the same day,
Yeah, I was gonna
on
say they
Saturday,
can be in
I
the
think
same day.
I was like, oh my gosh, we have like 3 sold out workshops today. This is so great. We're going to all dress up. It's going to be so awesome. And then I came home like midday and I was like, I still don't feel good. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. And I was like, and I'm still there for second thing. And that was like, wow, that was a lot of emotion in one day. And I was
Right.
like, sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so like for the last, couple months for us, it's basically been, since the conference, and then since mid-May, I've been on and off sick. And so I'm trying to run everything. And then I have, LMC where I had to record something, with my voice. I had to look decent, like you have to record content, and I
All the
look like
outtakes.
right. I look like hell, and I have to pull myself. Like, I'm lucky I'm out of bed and shipping stuff. I don't want to like be in front of a camera and like, do all that stuff. And then a weekly podcast. And so all those things. And then, we go to the conference and we're getting like 3 hours of sleep a night. But like during the day, it's just all this amazing stuff. But then there was also a lot of like kind of heavy stuff that was happening during then too, and there was like a situation with one of our like laser friends and her husband, and it literally was like super high and then like super crashing low. And like I at one point during the conference, like and I didn't understand at the time why I was like like the tears had started, and I couldn't get them to stop, but it was because of all of that. It was the lack of sleep, the exhaustion, the like intense highs and the intense lows, and it was too much. But then
Who's ready for August?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, managing all of that and like not, you just don't know how to feel some days, because you're
You
like,
don't.
you're so thankful, but then you're also like, I am so tired and I don't know how I'm gonna pull this off, but I'm gonna do it, but also how. And
And I think that's where the coaching came from, is like knowing that feeling and knowing that I didn't want to be there, and then having the experience of running the team with Leah Sophia and having the support there. Like, I wanted to create something that was going to be an arsenal of knowledge. So when you do have those bad days, instead of painting 400 examples for fall, you can just go use all my marketing images. And it's like somebody to just sit there and boost you up. Like, nope, it's okay. We don't need to fall all the way, because momentum matters. You don't want to just go completely stop. So, have your post, do your thing, and then that way you can hopefully take off and fly again soon. So we're all going to have those days. I virtual school my kids. I feel bad because I have people blowing me up in my coaching box and my Paisley Grace, and I'm like, yep, right after I get these offices set up, I will be right with you.
right.
But it started today, so we're good. I buried myself.
Well, and then I mean, managing the parent side of it, there's been like this month has been really, really busy for me, and it's only going to get busier as the month goes on. But, there's been a couple days this month where normally as soon as they get home, I try to not work, and then at least wait until they go to bed, and then, go back to it if I really need to. But there's been a couple days, especially this month, where I've had to like work up until dinner, and then I at least break for dinner, and I try to stay, a little bit after dinner, and then, give them like their kisses goodnights, or like for now, and then I'll see them before they go to bed and stuff. But there's been some guilt in that too, but I know that like those are okay from time to time. It depends on like what works for our family dynamic and stuff, but for the most part, my goal is just to make that not a habit. It's okay for certain projects or things and deadlines that are coming up, but I don't want it to be a thing where every single day, I'm just not present, because we always go back to thinking about the year, the first year that I did really well, the year before COVID and the year during COVID. That Christmas, we didn't set up a tree because he was really young and he didn't really know any different, but at the same time, I didn't really feel Christmas. I didn't feel happy. I didn't make anything for our own family and friends or for each other. I made stuff for everyone else. He was going to bed by himself, so there was even not like a separation, but we weren't even like going to bed at the same time. Like I was getting
I
in
wasn't
there.
helping at all then. She
No.
wouldn't let me in.
I wouldn't. I didn't know how to have you help.
Like Anna and Elsa, like, are you in there? No.
Right, and he would try to like hang, like, hold on and like not go, because he always knew I hated like when he would like, but he's like, I'm really tired, and like he was still working a
3 a.m.
full-time job.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
my poor husband! I can't tell you how many times he sat at the house, like the couch tying twine, like right around October. I'm like, and it's ornament season. Like we can watch Scandal, but you have to tie twine, and he'd be like tying, and all of a sudden he's like,
yeah. Well, he was my masking remover for a lot of stuff, especially for like keychains and stuff, because I was making a lot of keychains. So yeah, he would remove a lot of the keychains or put on like the keychain hardware and that kind of stuff. And yeah, he'd have his whole like setup and watch TV.
All before thingies.
It was way before thingies.
oh,
Keychains are much easier now.
Revolutionized the game.
I was so excited. I just organized my like laser room with these little acrylic drawers, and I finally found my thingies. Like I knew I had bought them a really long time ago, and it was one of those like, oh, I need that. And then I like have refused to make keychains for the last like 6 months because I'm like, I don't know where those thingies are. And then I just found my bag of them, and I was like, keychains it comes.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, we just released boxes for them because people lose them all the time. And it's literally just like a plastic container. And you would think it'd be super easy to find one that fits keychain thingies, but it has not been. No. There's either been like too small. It's like, I called it the Goldilocks. Like one, like they're too small, too big, like too tall, too long. Like I've tried so many containers, and then
we found them.
Many of them I would miss the return window. So now I have random like containers, but we finally found some that fit, and they've done pretty well in the last like day or two, because they're just keeping track of a little baggie for us craft hoarders is really difficult and dangerous. So you give it a box and it's a little bit, it's easier.
Well, these are like little acrylic drawers that pull out, and they're clear.
Yes, those are.
And so Amazon had them on Prime days, and I was like, they're all over my kids' room now. They're all over the laser room. Nice. I was like, ooh, ADD hyperfocus for the win.
Right. Yeah, those would be great. I've considered getting those. I don't want to sell them because I don't want like plastic and big boxes and like them breaking and stuff. But those would be perfect for people who have like some of each style and color. Putting them all in the little drawers would be really fun.
You just feel so organized. You're like,
right. Except anything with drawers, I tend to put something. Well, I forget what's in them unless they're clear, but the acrylic drawers would be fine. But I put stuff in front of them, and so then I have to move all this stuff so that I can open the drawers, at least the ones on the bottom. So you got to put the less important stuff at the bottom.
She's a magician for herself. She makes things just disappear.
I really do.
Like,
well, that's why I do like they're like measured, like they're the same length as my shelf, because I would do the same thing. I'd put like paint right in front of them, and then be like,
right.
Where is that? I don't know.
Right. Out of sight, out of mind if I can't see it. So you gave everyone discounts on what was it again? Coaching?
Yeah. So in order, I know it's like a gateway, but in order to be in our membership, you have to take boot camp first. And I'm really trying to come up with a better name for it than boot camp. So if you have suggestions, there might be more discounts there. But
it's a good one. I mean, that's kind of like how things, it's how like the Army and all that kind of starts. Yep. So,
but so you have to take that first. And it's not a starter course. It's really, like I said, it's everything that I do as far as walls of protection, how I run my business, your social media, your website, your marketing. Because on the side, I'm a big Shopify nerd. And so I build websites and everything too. So that's my little side ADD hustle over there.
I'll be sliding into your DMs about that too, because
I
we're
love
trying to improve our Shopify.
Yeah, I'm actually a partner with them, so I can like set up
Nice.
like development stores, and they can just live for infamy with no charge until you decide to turn them live, which is cool.
Ah, nice.
But nonetheless, you have to take boot camp in order to be in the membership. And the reason I designed it that way is because I know you've all been in like membership groups or courses when a new group of people come in, all the same questions get asked. Like,
Yes.
what do you use for this? What laser do you have? What is this? And it's like, I wanted a way to capture where here is all of my information. Here's how I do toddler time. Here's how I do this. Here's how I do this. And that way the membership can be a collaboration to come together and learn more. Like we dive into how I do field trips and make, $60,000 a year on that and the chunks and the big stuff. So, and membership is zip code protected. So yeah, so you get $25 off, for joining. Yeah.
Awesome. And then there's a bigger discount on the course for the
Yeah.
paid members,
So if
of
you're not,
course.
so if you're not a patron yet, this is the perfect time.
Well, and we got to plug again Blake's thing that he's doing, the
See,
collab
you
that we're doing with Blake.
You get savings on top of savings on top of savings over
So he is
That probably pays for your whole membership.
right.
That's what I'm saying.
He's giving everyone.
It's like we're giving you money.
Shut up. Trying to get it out. Unlimited amount of members. So every new patron for the month of August, he's giving $10 off his website. So as many people who
that's generous.
sign
So
up,
it's
right?
probably not going to be through the end of August. So
No, he said unlimited.
That's what he said.
He can't take it back
until we
now.
get flooded. With
Well, we have 7 so far.
So
and
sign up
he's
now.
Hasn't tapped out yet. So, yeah, but there's lots of bonuses. And then a little teaser. There might be more people next month as well. So, yeah, it's just only going to get sweeter from here.
That's it. And not to leave out those that have been with us already.
No, because
we
they
are
get
going to be picking someone from that.
Actually,
as well.
it reminds me. I did pick someone, and her name is Deb. I am not sure on her last name because it just said Deb, but I have her email address.
All right. So,
And-
Deb, look out for your...
No, but she already won. She won the $20 gift card, but I can't get a hold of her.
Oh.
She's one of our patrons. So
hit us up, Deb.
Deb, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Kind of like Cher. She might only have one name.
Right?
Yeah.
Just Deb.
Just Deb.
That's a good one. That's
And
my
if
mom's
she-
name.
And if she did it,
Debbie.
she does now.
Right. So where can people find you? Where can they find out more about Heather Bennett and
Yeah,
Paisley
so
Grace?
if you want to see what we do as a studio, all of our handles are at Paisley Grace Makery, so Instagram, Facebook, all the things. And then if you want to learn more about coaching, it's Heather Bennett Coaching as far as Instagram and Facebook. So, but my website's paisleygracemakery.com, and it's all hubbed up under there. So,
And I don't think we told them where the shop is. So where is it located?
yes, it's in the beautiful Fernandina Beach, Florida. So it's on Amelia Island. So we're only about a mile from the beach, and cute little cobblestone roads. It's an adorable little place. So definitely come check it out. And if you're in the area, just pop by. I'm usually there.
Well, and then you also mentioned that you are having an event in January, right?
I am, yes. So for our members, we get together once a year in January, and it's 5 days of just planning out your year and lots of really good speakers, and
Awesome.
it dives in. So
Nice.
yeah, so I highly recommend doing boot camp and joining membership because
Right.
it is literally, I look forward to it and I
Yeah.
run it. So
Yeah. Right.
and normally,
You say a
I'm
lot.
an introvert. So if I'm like inviting people into my space, like that's normally something I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. But I'm like, are they here yet? Are they here? Like I get so
Yeah.
excited because we do all the crafts. Like, last year we did epoxy and I taught photo palettes. And so we get to like craft all day, and then we dive into all the business and mindset. So it's good stuff.
Nice. I love it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for spending an hour with us and chatting with us.
Absolutely. Thank you
And,
for having me.
Yeah, and you guys stay right there for our life update coming up next. And we are back. Life update. Life update time. First day of school.
We mentioned, in the episode, first day of school. JR had his he had an appointment earlier last week, and he is 4'1".
Oh, yeah.
He's just
his 7-year-old
10
doctor's
inches
appointment.
under his grandma,
Yeah. My mom's
which
short.
is not hard. She's really short.
She's short.
But he's tall. And
Yeah.
listen, I'm going to be real mad if he gets all the height because none of it came from me.
I'm not, because I'm a short king, and I wish I was a little bit
This
taller.
is a short king.
I wish I was a little bit taller.
I wish I was a baller.
Wish
It
I had a
looked
rabbit
good.
and a hat with a bat.
6'4" Impala.
Oof, man. 6'4" Impala.
Listen, I kind of
wouldn't
want one
be
of those too.
married. I wouldn't be married if I had one.
Why can't you
back
be?
then, if I had a 6'4" Impala back then, I wouldn't be
Okay,
married.
but why can't we have one now? Like a black and red
Because
one?
we have family, we have kids, and they're
I
still in
know.
car seats. Once they're out of car seats,
This is true.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what else? You played with the fiber today.
Yep. I messed up a bunch of stuff, bunch of blanks.
It's not messing up. It's testing. It's learning. I hate testing, so I like that
I don't
you're
mind.
doing it.
I just feel bad that I just keep wasting material that we
Right.
can sell.
Right. I'm like,
That's the
let me
only-
take that from
Yeah,
the
that's-
inventory.
That's the only
Let me
problem.
take
Listen,
that-
if I had unlimited
Right.
supply, I would just be burning things
Right.
all day.
Literally burning through them.
Yep, burning through them.
Yeah.
It was. I switched lenses. I had to add lens and light burn. I had all the things. I really dove deep into the
You
fiber
did.
today.
Yeah, you did good though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little bit of a refresher.
Yeah.
Refresher. There was a couple things you had forgotten.
Yeah.
Ones that I didn't even know because honestly, you're the one who's been
Played with it.
playing with the fiber. I haven't
Yeah.
had time. I'm like, here, do this, play with this, find some good settings for me, and then, I never get to actually using it. I just watch you use it sometimes.
The
But
only thing I have to say, and listen, I get it. You have
Yeah.
to, but those glasses.
yeah,
It's the only thing.
yeah.
It's
Well, and
the
you wear
only
glasses
thing.
already, so
Right.
it's even
so I have to
more
take
annoying.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, even still, like
You,
if
I
only
wonder
there
if
was
there's
like a
like
button.
old man
If there was a
ones
button
that you could like, that
Oh,
my
over?
grandparents used to wear.
over
that,
these,
like,
don't make fun. I almost bought a pair of sunglasses that go over
Please
these glasses.
do not.
But they
do
don't
not.
look. They don't look like the eye doctor glasses.
But
they
do
look
they
like
clip
regular,
on?
They look like regular glasses that go over this.
I
just
must
don't
see
know.
them first.
I just don't. I haven't bought them because I don't know how like the frame over frame is gonna feel or look. Because I don't want like too. I don't know. Just What is
Jesus
going on?
That's right.
God. Oh, that's right. Because we're trying.
And
'cause
we're trying
lights
to go
out
to
at-
bed.
Lights out at midnight.
Lights
so
out
it's
at midnight
10:30.
is my new attempt.
That's why I look so perplexed. I'm like, what's that? Where's my phone? Yeah. Okay. Alarm is off. Let me make sure it's not like snoozing.
This is also why
Yeah.
there's
So,
more yawns lately. I
yeah,
did kind of mention that
yeah,
earlier.
so-
We're recording at night again just because it's
Yeah.
easier, during the day. It kind of like, it's a really hard shift from like packing orders, doing this, and then like when the days I felt like, especially ADHD, where like the days where you have an appointment, you can't do anything that day,
Right.
is what my brain does. And so if we have a podcast at noon, I now have to hopefully get all of our stuff packed and shipped and done, and
Right.
any kind of like, computer work done before noon. And then it takes about 2 hours start to finish to record the episode. And now it's 2. Now
Right.
I only have 2 hours before we have to kind of start wrapping up because the kids are coming home.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, what do I start now with only 2 hours left in the day? And so it's just easier to have the full day and then record at night. And I mean, a lot of the people that we have on, they still either have like regular jobs or,
Right.
daytime jobs, or they're doing their laser
or their
stuff
business
during
right,
the day.
during the day,
So,
yeah. I just thought of, it just
what?
came to my mind.
uh-oh.
Solution for the sunglasses, like a visor, like a welder's thing, or like a sneeze guard.
That's better than the glasses?
Yeah.
A whole face mask?
A whole face shield that comes down. Like I just put it up, and I can work on the computer, and then when it's time to laser, just comes down
He said.
and lasering, and then up.
I'm sure it probably exists. If
Yeah.
not, you could make it and sell
I'm
it
not
and maybe
gonna
make
make
some
it.
money. See, everything's a business.
Because I was thinking of the glasses where I could hit a button on these glasses.
Oh, right.
And then it turns
the,
like the shade,
green
the
protective.
shade protective comes
Yeah.
on, and then I hit it, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, face shield. We'll do that. Sorry, random thought.
You have a little touch of it as well.
A little touch.
Yeah.
It's contagious. I didn't have a touch before. It's contagious.
Probably. So what else we got?
Fiber that. How long are we in here? We're pretty. We've been on. Now that the riffraff should be out.
Referral.
Yeah. And only the true hardcore.
Only the true dedicated fans.
ones that got you guys got the Easter egg last week.
Yeah. What's the Easter egg this week?
About the tour. We got a new logo.
We do.
That is going to come out for the tour, right? That's when we're gonna use it.
Yeah, so we're gonna use it for everything,
Right.
probably. It's gonna be like an alternate. It might become our new main logo. I feel like these are kind of just gonna be like our OGs. So if you've purchased these, you now have a collectible.
Right.
Just kidding.
Don't know how much it's gonna be worth. Hopefully a lot.
But we just needed something simpler. I like to make LED signs, and I haven't made an LED sign for myself because our podcast logo is a little
long.
It's just a little. It's not a good fit for the style of LED signs that I make. So we have another one coming. It's completed. And yeah, we will unveil it probably during the unveiling of the tour.
Yeah.
And so we got to talk to a couple people and see, if we're going to go anywhere this year. We would like to, if we can make it work. So we're going to see if we can. And then
this first one's going to be small.
Yeah, it's going to be like a little tester, see how it goes, just kind of get our feet wet, test a meetup and the pop-ups and kind of the idea that we have.
Right.
And yeah, then we'll go from there, but then there will be 2 bigger ones next year.
Yeah. Definitely one.
Yeah, at least one.
One at least, for sure.
Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to that other one too.
Yes.
So it's going to be really hard to choose one if we have to.
So one we figure we have to do.
Yeah.
And then the other one we want to do.
Yes, really bad.
So
yeah. So hopefully we'll have information out
tuned.
soon on how you can support that.
Yep.
We're gonna do a lot of different sponsorship levels, either with laser businesses who sell to other laser owners, where advertising opportunities, and then also just our fans. If you want to help us along the way, help fund it. Hopefully we'll get somewhere close to where you are. If not next year, then maybe the following year. Yeah, and
if you made it this far and you want to sponsor and support, let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it in mind when we're working out all the
kinks and stuff,
all the particulars on making this, because it's a lot. It's a lot to take this the road. It's easy to do it once a year at next level.
It's not even easy to do that.
It's just we know we are doing it.
And it's possible. Yeah.
So.
But it would be kind of nice to because you pack up all that gear that we use for the most part once while we're there.
Right.
You use the cameras here and there for content and stuff when you're able to.
Right.
But yeah, so if it'll be nice to actually be able to use the gear more than just once while we're there.
Trip, for sure.
I sent Will on a hunt because we want some of those Mevo cameras for this event. And I was like, hey, find us some cheap ones. And of course he found some good ones and talked them down for us. So Will's the guy to put on that kind of that kind of job.
Yeah.
We're really excited. So tell us your thoughts, where you want us to go.
Yeah. Should we even do it? Should we not?
Don't say no. They're not gonna say no. But don't say no, because I wanna go.
And with that, thank you guys all for your support, and join Patreon if you haven't and you made it this far.
Thanks to our 7 newbies.
Yes.
And all the OGs, absolutely.
And everyone who watches on YouTube, Wherever you listen to podcasts, thanks for
appreciate
supporting
you.
us and listening to us. And it's been another great episode of the Rally Back Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done.
Are you tired of endlessly joining jump rings?
There's gotta be an easier way.
Are your wrists aching after numerous orders? Introducing Keychain Thingies, the time-saving solution for anyone making keychains.
It's so fast and easy.
These revolutionary plastic thingies make large or multiple orders a snap. So easy, even a child can do it.
That was so easy.
So what are you waiting for? Go to keychainthingies.com and order now. Keychain Thingies will change your life. However, they should not be used to cure any medical ailments, repair broken relationships, or help lose weight. Do not use Keychain Thingies unless you want to save time and aggravation.